Hello, welcome to Dare to Share with Misty Lane. I'm excited to have you here tonight. I have a wonderful guest that's going to be on here sharing her story. She happens to be a friend of mine. Her name is Marianne Bielka, and it took me over a year to figure out that one. So anyway, I'm excited that you're here because you're going to get to experience the wonders of Miss Marianne. She is so multi-talented. She is so upbeat and positive, and she is just a whirlwind. When you talk about an empowered person, this lady knows how to get a job done, and she doesn't waste any time, and she goes after it and she gets it done. So you're going to get to see all that wonderful thing. She's going to talk to you about how she's managed to go from being raised by an ex-nun and just all the things she's gone through. And she was a stand-up comedian for a while, and now she's this high-powered speaker and business strategist and just an amazing human being. So I'm excited that you're here to experience her. But first things first, I am going to ask you to go ahead and share this out with your family and friends. You never know what might get said tonight that somebody might need to hear. That's how it works. It's one little click of the button and you can share it out, and someone else may get the message and be able to prosper from that. You never know. And Marianne's going to be giving away 3 free strategy sessions. So you want to stick around and find out how you can sign up for that, and hopefully you can win one of those 3 free sessions. Also, I want you to go to my Facebook page and join the movement, #BeThatOne. It's a private group right off my page. This movement, it's something that I struggled with in my life about becoming transparent about my past and becoming honest with not just others, but mostly with myself. To dump some of that toxic shame and guilt was the best thing I've ever done, was becoming transparent. So #BeThatOne encourages others to step up and share their life experiences with their honesty and their truth, so that their stories can educate each other, make each other aware, and that we can judge less and mentor more in the world, because we definitely need more love out there in the world. So I ask you to join that movement, become part of that community for me. Also, drop your where you're watching from in the comments. And if you have any questions for Miss Marianne, please feel free to ask at any time during the show. Even if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and drop your questions in, and Marianne can check back and get an answer out to you too. All right, so we're going to go ahead and have a word from our sponsors. This episode is powered by sponsors, and without them, the show may not be possible. So we want to take a moment just to recognize those real quick. Today's show is sponsored by Simple Changes from Wanda Reynolds. Make a simple change today for a healthier tomorrow with products like Simply Satisfy, which aids in gut digestion and curbs your appetite. Mental wellness is directly related to gut health, so keep a happy gut with Simply Satisfy. Then there's Simply Soothe. It helps relax your sore muscles, and it supports your overall joint health. Simply Start is made from 100% organic hemp oil. It promotes your calmness, supports sleep, and maintains healthy joints. Contact Wanda Reynolds today through Facebook Messenger or at scdso.com/live life wonderfully. Health provides simple solutions to whole body health. To get and stay healthy, we offer Somaderm HGH Gel. Would you like to sleep like a baby and wake up rested? Do you want to feel maximum benefits from physical exercise? Do you want to burn through that afternoon slump with energy to last well into the night? Well, you can. And you may also experience 25 other whole body improvements with the gel. It's effective, safe, FDA registered, and very affordable. Diane has immuno boosters and keto support products too. Contact Diane Chasik at lifesmilehealth.com or text lifestyle to 64600 today. All right. Thank you again to our sponsors. I ask that you get over there and check them out. And if you're watching live with us now, please put your comments in there. Hey, Robert Booker, my old faithful, thank you so much for being here, pal. Go ahead and let us all know where you're from. I know, Robert, you're from Canada. Everyone else, please drop in. Let me know where you're from. And if you're commenting and you're not commenting from the live feed itself, I may not see your comments. So if I'm not addressing you, I apologize for that. I only see comments from the live feed on my Facebook page. So, but we'll address your comments after the show if we don't get them live. All right. I want to bring on my friend, Miss Marianne Bielka. Hey, Marianne.
Hey there. It's so great to be here, Miss Misty. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you. I'm so honored to have you on my show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. We've got a lot of great things going on here at Strategic Business Solutions Consulting, which is the business that I started to help your business grow.
Yeah.
This new code environment has changed the game, and everyone has to shift their strategy. I've been working with some really exciting people. What do you do? What do you do when you're a belly dancer and the entire world shuts down around you when there are events? Well, you go on YouTube. Do you share? I want to tell the story of how I helped a belly dancer with a free 20-minute strategy called "What Could She Do?" She didn't
Right.
want to deliver groceries because she's at home with her elderly parents. This is early on, and she's in Florida. She didn't want to risk bringing anything home. So what
Right.
could she do? Well, I looked at her portfolio, her pictures. She's just model gorgeous. I said, there are millions of teenage girls on Instagram who want to be influencers, but they
Mm-hmm.
need tricks on how to present themselves, but also how to protect themselves online. Because you can
Absolutely.
bet that any belly dancer who has been in a live performance has had to deal with some compromising positions. So we gave her the new avenue of teaching through a K through 12 online school called OutSchool, age appropriate tips for how to get out there and how to protect yourself online for belly dancing in COVID. And this is the kind of strategy shift that I'm dealing with and hopefully helping your audience with as well every day.
Yeah. And she said strategy shift, in case you were wondering. All right, Marianne, that's awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to dive into all of that during the show because I know you're doing some amazing things. You've got some great things going on. You've helped me grow in more ways than one. We are friends, and I treasure that more than anything. My beautiful hummingbird mug right there was sent all the way from Albuquerque to me for our sweet Eliana, who has now passed on. But Marianne has become a friend, and I hold you dear to my heart, Marianne.
Oh.
We want to start the show off as we always do with you having a couple of minutes, just a short 2 or 3 minutes to brag on yourself about your most proud accomplishments in life, some of your biggest wins, just all the good, positive stuff that's going on. Just a few minutes of it because we're going to touch up more at the end. But I want people to know how successful and all the wins in your life before we talk about any of the adversity. So go ahead and
Thank you.
share that with us if you don't mind.
Thank you so very much. I've had a path through life that was never a straight line, thankfully. I like the scenic route. When I was in my early 20s, I made my living as a stand-up comedian, as you know, in New York City. And then I got married. And as I like to say, that will kill a joke every time. I then went in to become the customer service manager of a chain of home improvement stores, Rickle Home Center. By the time I came on board, now I'm in my early 20s at this point, the chain had already gone downhill. But in the year that I was there, the stores that I worked one-on-one with did see an increase in their revenues and their customer satisfaction scores and their employee satisfaction scores. But unfortunately, it was not enough to save the chain.
Oh,
Then I opened my own store. Urban Trends in Staten Island was an herb, tea, gift, candle shop, and no one in Staten Island had done anything like that. So at 25, I have newspapers and interviewers coming to me. What is this approach that you have to business? How come this is so unique? We had chefs, we had alternative medicine, we had candle makers, oil makers, we had brewers, you name it, the gamut of people who would come to us for bulk spices, which now you can find in any health food store,
yeah.
right? We had an entire store dedicated to that. But
Wow.
I left New York. Now, New York City is beautiful in the rearview mirror. I love my New Yorker friends, but I
Yeah.
really need to find home outside of there, here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where there were enough herb stores. So I decided to learn computer programming, believe it or not. And I went into healthcare information management, where I spent 15 years working my way up to an operations directorship subsidiary of the Hospital Association, responsible for a multi-million-dollar service line that we launched and made successful throughout the state. So it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
Here I am today.
There you are today. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. And I met you through the computer world as well. That's how you and I came about. But you've moved on since helping me with mine. You've moved way on beyond there. So
I met you in my side hustle before it was my full business.
yeah, her site. Is it okay if I share with you, with the audience,
Sure.
what that was? So Marianne is actually the one that created the MistieLane.com website. The very first original website was all her. So she is uh, had to put up with me and my procrastination and my busy schedule and my not returning calls or giving her what she needed. And she filled in the blanks and got to know me and my personality, and did a beautiful job. And I thank you for that, Marianne.
Thank you. And before people approach me to do their websites, I have moved on from that portion of the business. That was a side hustle and didn't fit into the larger strategic business view that
Right,
I now offer to you. So if
right.
you're looking for a website, I'm sure Misty can refer you to her new excellent web mistress,
Yes,
who I
we'll get her on the show too at some point. Okay, well, let's talk. Let's go back in time, Marianne. Things are going great now, but things haven't always been great. As we all do, life happens to all of us. All of us go through our ups and downs, our trials and tribulations. Some of us, are able to jump back up, pull ourselves up, jump right back in the game, and get bigger and better from it. And others, sometimes we fall into deep depression, we get stuck in the moment, we dwell, we become negative and never really seem to get out of it, and just let that toxicity ruin our lives, I mean, for years. So I want to go back and talk about you. As from the bio, the audience has probably already read that you were adopted and raised by an ex-nun. I want you to share with the audience a little bit of what that was like, and how you got through school, and what, just being adopted alone, but then with the ex-nun thing, how did, talk about that for me.
before I go into the adversity side of it, I would like to go into the gratitude side of it and say that I have had such a blessed perspective of the world because of my highly unusual circumstance. And I'm very grateful for that. But as you might imagine, being a young child in early school years, in those elementary school years, where we forge connections based on what we have in common with those around us, it
Mm-hmm.
might surprise you that not many people had in common with me being adopted or being raised by an ex-nun. So there was a difficulty in getting myself introduced. Nothing's unusual about this for me. Hi, I'm Marianne. This is who I am. I'm transparent. This is everything about me. And to be met with the, what? This does not compute. You fall outside of my comfort zone
Right.
as a small child. That forced me to really quickly learn to listen, to connect with people in how they communicate with the world, and to find commonalities and start there. So that laid the groundwork. But it was very difficult growing up through that. And some of it may have been after that time where you projected, okay, this is how I was responded to early on. And then you carry that with you through life. How will people respond to me now? How do I go into this situation and be as extroverted as I
Right.
was inspired to be?
Well, so how did that play out, like growing up with the kids around you? Were you bullied? Were you made fun of? Did people know that the person raising you was an ex-nun? Did people, I mean, and how, and then after you talk about that, I want you to briefly talk about also, well, just talk about that first.
For, and it was a big family. I had three older brothers that were natural born, still are natural born to my adoptive parents there. And the older I got, the more people I had met who had been adopted or gave children up for adoption. So there was a subset of us who kind of got where the others were at. And we really felt like we were in our own club, that there was something the rest of the world took for granted, was not in their wheelhouse, was not in their experience. Why would it be?
Right.
But we got each other. And when I met people who had given children up for adoption or had been adopted, and they felt that their biological family, whether it be the parental or the child, must hate them
Right.
Such a foreign concept to me. I was so grateful for that. I did find my natural mother. She and I are friends to this day.
Oh, good.
The conversation I had with my now late, very loved adoptive mother was very tough, because how do you explain that you are not seeking to replace
Mm-hmm.
anyone? What, in hindsight, you could not know this 18, 20, early 20s. But now that I'm on this side of experience, when you give of yourself so much, to have someone come to you and say, thank you, I found what left me at your doorstep,
Yeah.
with, with the understanding of this is additive, this is not a replacement, this is me finding my history. But you're my mom always. So that was a tough conversation.
And how old were you?
When I found my bio mom, I was 20 years old.
So you
I had,
went looking for her?
yes.
You know, my son, if a lot of the people watching do know my story. If you don't, you can definitely read about it in my book, What Goes Up, that you can get at mistylane.com. A little plug. But my son is 20 now, and his dad was actually my drug dealer that I fell in love with and married. And he does not have a relationship with him, nor has he wanted to. Now, his dad has tried to reach out to him and have a relationship, but he has not wanted to for his own personal reasons. But I often wondered, at 20, you know, he's soul searching right now. He's fighting for his independence. He's trying to find out, figure out who he is in the world. And I feel like there's a huge piece missing for him. And I often wondered if this was the age that curiosity set in, and that bravery takes over, where you go out and want to find the truth. So I'm glad to hear that it was 20. And thank you for sharing that.
You know, you bring up my own son, who is my biological son. When I was married, we thought that we couldn't have children, weren't sure if it was on his end or on my end. Well, after we're divorced, turns out neither one of us. So it was just a combination, apparently. When I met my son's dad, Quinn, the understanding that I would never get in the way of whatever relationship they needed to have, I
Yeah.
think allowed me to enter into this with a foundation that many people may never have. And I have said to Quinn, who's now 12, you can do what you want with your dad. If you want to stay here, if you want to go there, I am fine with that. I want you to be happy. And I want you to know that no matter whether or not we ever get along in the future, that he is giving me the greatest gift I'll ever have in my life. And I will always be grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought Quinn into the picture, because it's a huge part of your story. I know you've got a keynote around this entire story, and I've heard it, and it's beautiful. But I would like, if you don't mind sharing, I know it's Dare to Share, and there's a lot of personal and intimate stuff, but if you don't mind sharing with our audience, Marianne, I'd love for you to share about not one, but two near death experiences that your son has had, that you've had to deal with, and being a single mom, what that was like. So share that with us if you don't mind.
Thank you. When I was the operations director and working in that executive role, I was traveling all over the state. I was away from home several overnights. I'd be working in the office or at home on the weekends as well, 60 hours a week, you know the drill. And as a single mom, that does a disservice for your child. I didn't really realize that. I was so gung-ho on being the provider. I can be all things. I can be the mom, I can be the dad, I can be the older sibling, I can be the younger sibling, I can do whatever. I can't. Spoiler alert, you can't. Okay. But I tried. I really tried. And there was a time where my son started complaining of a pain in his belly. Now, you don't know this part. This is before the keynote scenario. So this is the precursor leading up to that. And he's, oh, my stomach hurts, my stomach hurts, my stomach hurts. The first time that happens, you think, okay, go to the bathroom, have a Pepto, go to bed. A few days later, intermittently, my stomach hurts. And you wonder, okay, is it appendicitis? And then you don't rush right away to the doctor. You YouTube something, you Google something,
Yeah.
you look at all your
Dr.
friends,
Google.
right?
Yeah.
This is the human nature. And it didn't appear to be that. It wasn't. It didn't appear to be that at the time. And a few days later, I'm thinking, what are we eating? Is there something that you're reacting to? A few days later, oh, this hurts, this hurts. We're going to urgent care. Get in the car, okay? Intermittent, but it's been long enough. We need to get this checked out. And in the car, he's 7 years old at this time, by the way. He lets out a blood-curdling scream that shocked me to my core. And I said, we're not going to urgent care. We're going to the emergency room. So we pull into the emergency room. We're in the waiting room. And every 9 minutes, every 15 minutes or so at intervals, he lets out this piercing scream that only a child can let loose.
Yeah.
And I'm so helpless. I can't do anything to help my son. We're here and we're waiting and we're waiting. The nurse comes out and he checks and then also comes to the conclusion it's not appendicitis. We go back in. We're in one of the rooms in the emergency room center. He's watching cartoons. He's leaning back on. Says, Mom, can we go to the bathroom? Okay. We go. He toots. Yeah. We go back to the room. And then he's sitting and watching his cartoons for about 40 minutes, no screaming. The nurse who checked us out in the waiting room opens the door and says to me, hey, we haven't heard him scream since you guys have been in here. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is great. Okay, let's find out what caused it, but this is great. He's not in pain anymore. And he looks me in the eye and he goes, kind of makes you think, doesn't it? And he leaves. And I realized he thought I was trolling for pain medications using my son.
Oh my gosh. Well, it happens.
I do.
Um,
Mortified. I said, I'm not waiting. It'll be an hour and a half before the doctor can see him. He's okay now. We're going home. I had a business trip in the morning. He's fine. And I paid my full copay without seeing the doctor and left. I called his teachers, his dad, and let them know what was going on because obviously I have people taking care of him while I'm on my road trip. I'm in Hobbs, New Mexico, which is a 6 to 7 hour drive.
sadly.
There's a lot of no phone blackout service, a lot of nothing between Albuquerque and Hobbs. And if you like the open road and the flat horizon, this is the drive for you. I can think on these drives. I love them. When I get back to service, my phone explodes. Quinn is in pain. The doctors who are parents of children at school checked him out. It's not appendicitis. They sent him home. Okay. He's with his stepmom and his dad, taking it easy on the couch. So I did what I had to do in that morning. It was a 1 hour event. I drove back and I made it home in 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
I was flooring it to get back to my son. I picked up, okay, whatever's blocking this, let me pick up chocolate X-Lax. Let me see what I can do to get whatever's in there through his system. And that was probably what caused him the greatest pain and potentially saved his life. So I give him a piece of chocolate. He's sensory. He's very particular to medicine. So he takes this, and shortly thereafter, he's in pain, and he's on the ground screaming, why? At 7 years old, why? Well, we're right back at that emergency room. So we're not leaving until you figure out what's going on. It's 1 a.m. We're not leaving until you figure out what's happening. So we get x-rays, and there's a mass in his intestines.
Oh, no.
And I'm trying to be, look how cool, you're going to get pictures of your insides. Isn't that great? Oh, that's so exciting. And I'm dying inside while he's in pain. They have him on prednisone. They have him on just these incredible painkillers. Let's find an orthopedic surgeon. They don't have one at your hospital. We're going to go here. Hey, Quinn, this is great. Have you ever been in an ambulance? Me neither. We're going to get to go. And I'm trying to be all upbeat. That takes, let me tell you, those of us, you're out there, you are. When you have had to be strong for someone else, the recovery and crash after that is significant. So I want to send respect to everyone in your audience, everyone listening to these words now. If you've been there, I respect you and I get it. Okay, we are strong together.
Yeah.
We get to the hospital. He's on morphine. They go for imaging. It's a tumor that's being pushed it's blocking his large intestines up right above the belly button. When I gave him the chocolate medicine, it's trying to push it through and digest it, but it's attached. So they're worried that it's folded in, called, and I may get this wrong, intussusception, where the intestine folds in, and if it's been there for too long, the tissue can die and become necrotic. Right. So worst case scenario, my 7-year-old may be in a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. Also, worst case scenario, may be paralyzed from the epidural. He's on morphine at this point. At 7 years old, he's on morphine. His dad shows up and we're both there for him. You know, he's a good dad. When they go into surgery, sitting there, I just let loose. And then the doctor comes out, and I think of like the TV show, I'm going to be dating myself here. Any medicine show you've seen, the surgeons, they are walking like they know they are the cool kid in the room. And he came out just like that. I'm the cool kid in the room. And he shows me this camera. And the picture in the camera that I'm looking at appears to me to be a lemon in a garden hose, essentially. And then I realized I'm looking at my son's intestines in this man's hand, outside of my son's body. Nothing else. It's just a close-up of the hand in this. And then he slides that image and shows me this mass on the table and the stitches in the intestine. Okay, it's not bloody. For those of you, I don't mean to trigger anything. There's no blood. I half expected him to keep going, saying, this is my daughter's graduation and this is our vacation. It was so surreal to me. Yeah. It was a fact, but it came out great. This is in November, December of my son's 7th year. Needless to say, for the 10 days that he was recovering from this, I lived in his room. Called work. I have my laptop, I can work from here, but I'm probably not going to be in as much as you need me to. I'll monitor email and send off to delegate, but I'm here with my son. And that was probably the hardest thing, was not to pretend that everything is okay, but to not rely on my son to relieve my stress through this, and to be a source of strength for him.
Well, it's really hard, especially if you're parenting, for the most part alone. I mean, his dad was in the picture, but for the most part, it's really hard to be that rock for our children, and then there's no one there for us to be our rock. It's really tough because it's on our shoulders, whether you're a mom or your dad or a grandparent, because a lot of grandparents are raising their grandchildren these days. It's really hard. And the only thing I know to equate that to right now that's coming to mind is when I do my PET CT scans and I see the bodies that are just engrossed with tumors and how bad it is. And the patient, I have to get them up off the bed and look them in the face. And the first thing they say is, well, what'd you see? And, to have to keep a straight face and bold face, lie to them and tell them I haven't even looked at it yet. It's hard. And I can't even imagine what that would be like for my child. To have to go through something like that. I mean, I've experienced things with my grandbaby, but that's a little different than your own child that you're raising. So, wow. So it wasn't cancer though, right?
No, it was benign. And as you might imagine, that was the event where I say the universe kicked me in the butt and said, you need to be there for your kid. You don't need to be there for someone else's bottom line. You need to be there for your family. Make it happen. And that's when I started to put things in place to work for myself. And it started with a side hustle, and it started with a transition, but it's always been a plan to get there. And it's very difficult. Now, my son is 12. To go back to the keynote that you were mentioning, it's the 5 secret steps to becoming a superhero, as told by a 7-year-old. And I'm still working on the book. I swear it's coming out. Where my son made a list of the steps to become a superhero to show his friend Alex. And I'll run through them briefly. They were practice, make suits, find your superpower, meet the mayor, and work. And the keynote we talk about how to apply these principles to your own goal achievement plan.
Mm-hmm.
What's your daily practice? Is it getting you closer to where you want to be or not? He gave me this list at the beginning of the summer where he was healing from an invasive surgery and he was not allowed to swim, certainly no stress on this healing. It's where the entire organ system is. If you don't want to get water, even special covering for bathing, showering, normalization, not feeling different because you have a scar. Everyone has a scar. It's a story. So there was a lot of work that summer. And he gets the okay to go swimming at a party at a city pool. And I spent an hour with him in the pool. He's never been a strong swimmer, and he's hanging out in that. It went from 3 feet to 4 feet to 3 feet, this pool. He's hanging out on the edges. He's got his boogie board. He's doing great. We go to get a cupcake. Fantastic. Go back to the pool. His friend, who doesn't know anybody, wants a cupcake. We go to get a cupcake, and I look, and I don't see my son. He said, okay, I'll go in. You know what you're doing? And I look, and I don't see him, and I go, and when I do see him, he's underwater, and he's unconscious. You know this part. And I end up standing there, and I can smell the chlorine. I can see the light off of the trees on this otherwise beautiful summer day. I am holding him up over the water by his foot, and he is unconscious. He's limp, blue in his fingers, his toes, his lips. And the lifeguards who were paying attention to themselves and not anyone in the pool, the dozens of family and children in the pool with him, and I had no idea that he was slowly drowning. But when your crazed mom picks you up and takes you to the side of the pool, shake water out of your lungs,
right.
Puts down at the lifeguards, they call the ambulance, his eyes are opening. Thankfully, he didn't need to go to the hospital, but this was close. Had it been one more minute, he'd be gone. So this is the second thing of stop, be here for him. You're so blessed he's here. It's twice. I said, Quinn, you're a cat. You have 9 lives. Save some knowledge, okay?
Yeah.
If you're anything like me, you're going to need a few.
You're older and you can get through them better on your own.
And after he survived that, when we talk about the 5 secret steps to becoming a superhero, I'm not the hero in that story for pulling him out of the water. He's the hero in that story for getting back in the water at that same pool a week later. And he made it his daily practice that summer to go back to that pool. And he put on his suit and he found his superpower of bravery. And he met the mayor who was his swim instructor, and he did the work.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful story. And your son is extremely courageous. And it sounds like, oftentimes I've seen in my own personal life too, where our kids are teaching us and parenting us in some ways. So it sounds like in some ways he was sculpting your life and you just didn't know it yet.
I think it's very true.
It is true. And slows it. And our kids tend to slow us down and not exactly tell us what they need from us, but show us what they need from us. And I think it's important that we stay privy to that we stay aware and we look for those signs, because sometimes we do go too fast in life. I know I'm one of them. I'm still doing it. My grown kids are still, they call my boyfriend, and my best friend, and they say, can you please tell my mom she won't listen and she's doing this. She needs to sleep more than 4 hours a night. And, because they're concerned. But when you got a passion for something burning inside of you, it's like nothing's going to stop you. So you do what you got to do. Well, Marianne, that's beautiful. I'm so thankful that Q is good and that he's, thriving now and today. And I can see he's going to probably be some major positive. He'll probably be a mayor himself, I'm sure, one day. So I can see that from him. All right, we're already past the point of the show where I like to bring the audience back out and talk about how you've come up, what you've learned from those things. So I'm going to ask you just to briefly think about, tap into your emotions, maybe something really vulnerable in your life that either you've shared before or maybe that you've never shared, maybe a secret, maybe a notion, maybe just anything in your life that was really, really dark that somehow pivoted and changed your life. and what that meant to you moving forward, and something that you're daring and willing to share with our audience. So I'm going to go to commercial break to recognize the sponsors. When we come back, I'm going to ask you to share that moment, and then we're going to talk about how it transitioned you into this huge, amazing businesswoman that you are today. Okay. All right. So let's hear a word from our sponsors. Today's show is sponsored by Simple Changes from Wanda Reynolds. Make a simple change today for a healthier tomorrow with products like Simply Satisfy, which aids in gut digestion and curbs your appetite. Mental wellness is directly related to gut health, so keep a happy gut with Simply Satisfy. Then there's Simply Soothe. It helps relax your sore muscles and it supports your overall joint health. Simply Start is made from 100% organic hemp oil. It promotes your calmness, supports sleep, and maintains healthy joints. Contact Wanda Reynolds today through Facebook Messenger or at scdso.com/live life wonderfully. Health provides simple solutions to whole body health. To get and stay healthy, we offer Somaderm HGH Gel. Would you like to sleep like a baby and wake up rested? Do you want to feel maximum benefits from physical exercise? Do you want to burn through that afternoon slump with energy to last well into the night? Well, you can. And you may also experience 25 other whole body improvements with the gel. It's effective, safe, FDA registered, and very affordable. Diane has immuno boosters and keto support products too. Contact Diane Chasik at lifesmilehealth.com or text lifestyle to 64600 today. Awesome. All right, Marianne. So go ahead and share with us today what you're daring to share, and then we're going to talk about how it's changed you.
When I went back to the office after the drowning incident, now keep in mind, I had a corner office. I was on the executive team. And I sat there and I looked at everything that I'd worked for and was so proud up until that point. I closed my door. I just broke down when it hit me. It took days to hit me.
Yeah.
That I always had my family taken from me again, right?
Yeah.
And that every good thing that I had done for a company I loved meant nothing if that went away. And I had to stop delaying. And I had to get that plan to truly be here for him. That was such a dark time. I didn't come to that. It's not like I had a breakdown and said, okay, I need to have a strategic plan. No, I had a breakdown. I had a dark, depressive time. What does it mean if everything I've worked for doesn't fulfill me, if I can't be here to be who my son needs to raise him because of these competing priorities? Yeah. Which one wins? Well, in theory, there's no question which one wins when you ask that, but in practice, how do you make that happen?
Yeah.
And it was a long, dark time, and I tried to find the answer in more than one bottle of wine, I'll tell you that. It's there. I think I pushed a lot of people away, unfortunately, in that time, because I didn't know who I was, so I didn't know how to interact. But when I realized, I took a look at every thank you card. I saved my thank you cards. I took a look at every thank you card I'd been given. And I realized I did service. I had a positive impact. I can do this on my own. I can be here for my son and define before school, after school, in the evenings, define what my hours are in order to have that lifestyle where I can continue to help others, other single moms, married, you want to get your side hustle up. Now that in this COVID environment, if your income is impacted, I get it. How do we shift what you're doing so that you can continue to be your authentic self, give service to others, and thrive in this? And it took the better part of 2 years to make that transition fully happen. Wow. But here we are today. Here we are today with a successful business consultancy and with clients with success stories so happy that you and I have had such a friendship through all of this. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that personal, intimate moment. It's bringing tears to my eyes because I so relate to you, especially the part where you said, if I lose it all, um, what is if what does any of this mean if I lose him? And like I talk about my plate being full all the time, and my kids are constantly like, well, something, you need to give something up. And I think to myself, okay, are you going to tell me what to give up? Because like you said, there's fighting priorities, right? So who's going to choose what you give up? You give up your grandkids, you give up your kids, you give up your elderly parents that have dementia and need you. I mean, where do you give up your job that allows you to pay for those things? What do you give up? The show, which is my passion and my purpose, where do you draw that line? And so, but what you said just now just really hit home to me is like, at the end of the day, if I don't take care of myself, none of that matters. Because if I burn the candle at both ends, like I tend to do, and kill over dead with a heart attack, then what is it for? What has it mattered? And I think a light just went on in my head. And I thank you for that, because I think I understand a little bit more now.
That's
So thank you for that.
one of the tools that I have. I think I have the link to my Patreon for group coaching here. One of the tools that I have available, and I'll put this in the replay version in the chat so people can just get it. I think I can put a file there. Is a weekly planner, and includes not only what am I doing for my business, what am I doing for my family, what am I doing for my personal growth, but there's an entire quadrant for your to-do list. What are you doing to nourish and recharge yourself?
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Think about those things. Yeah, so you guys, there it is in the comment section. Go ahead and drop in the comments and say thank you to Marianne for that. Just thank her. She's offering up so many things to us today, free of charge, and she's giving away 3 complimentary strategy calls as well. And this is a high-powered lady that knows her business and gets it done. So, and I know, because I've worked with her. She keeps me going, because I'm a procrastinator. Yeah. So you guys, I want you just in the comments to say thank you to Marianne. Let her know that you're here and you're supporting her, and thanking her for her gifts. And then check out all that she's doing there, the links that she's giving you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about, hey, Q, what's going on, buddy? Here, let me take this down so I can see you. So here's Q, our little superhero.
In the picture, this is my son, who I have talked about nonstop, who I'm incredibly proud of, who is the sunshine of my life.
He is a doll. He is a doll. Hey, Q. I've met you. Do you remember meeting me in Albuquerque when I came to visit? Yes? Cool. Awesome.
I'll be with you in just a few moments. We'll wrap this up, okay? Thanks, sweetie. Love, Quinn.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing him with us, Marianne.
And I love that now these moments are applauded, allowed, encouraged, where if you're in a boardroom, the kid can't come in when they just need a hug.
No.
Right?
No.
So I want to help more people achieve this, achieve the ability to just be authentic for yourself and express what you need to express and receive the love you need to receive. That's my passion today.
That's beautiful. It's so hard for us to find, like, a lot of us have a passion, but we don't know how to monetize it. It's so hard for some of us to find our way in that entrepreneur space, to learn how to monetize, so that we can move into that stay at home or work on the go, at a swim meet or whatever it is, soccer, tournament, whatever it is, so it's really great that we have people like you that can help us strategize that plan and make it come into fruition. Thank you so much for that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the other thing you have going on, this women power, what is it called?
Powerful Women Today.
Powerful Today. Talk about that.
Now, this Powerful Women Today is an organization based out of Canada, and they are embarking on their global expansion, starting with North America and Latin America. And next year, we'll be moving across the pond, exploring the European nations and other countries as well. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag for that, but I am so privileged and proud to be part of the first cohort launching Powerful Women Today groups in the United States. The Albuquerque section, go to Meetup, search Powerful Women Today Albuquerque, and join my Meetup group. And
Awesome.
we'll tell you all about it. This is a group that is not just a networking group, is not just female empowering. There is a path for coaching certification. There is a path for book publishing. There is a path for speaker bureau. There is a path for your podcast if you're out there and you want to do your own podcast, or if you're looking to be a guest on other podcasts to talk about your business. We can help coach you on how to present your story, how to have greater impact in finding your signature story, and to really make a difference in your business, get your brand out there. Or if you say, I want to start a podcast, I don't know what to do, there's a whole course there that's available for that as well. It is really a full package, women helping women. There are men in here too, but let's say men do business a little differently than women do, approach it a little differently. We are complementary. A rising tide lifts all boats. We're non-competitive. So as we continue to grow in the United States, I look forward to sharing more and more about it. But September 30th, circle your calendar. It is the virtual online launch party for Powerful Women Today Albuquerque.
Okay. Is there a link for that somewhere?
That's my Meetup group. I will get that into.
Okay. All right. So she's going to drop that link in the comments, you guys, so you can get in and take advantage of that. So Marianne, there are so many. I'm just going to be honest and transparent here. I'm that person that'll pay that $7 or that $47 or that $67, because if it's under 100, it's a bargain, for that webinar, that group, that course, and I never watch the dadgum thing because I'm too busy. I mean, Grant Cardone got me good. Okay, he got me good, and now I'm getting emails, and I keep saying I'm going to go back, I'm going to catch up, and I'm going to watch it because it's great material, and I know I need it, and I know I need to watch it, but at the end of the day, I just, at 11 o'clock at night when I finally have time, I just need a minute to decompress, so I never get around to doing it. What makes this group different? What can you say will make someone that you say to them, you have to take the time to watch this one, because why?
So you're talking about the Powerful Women Today, you're talking about Patreon group coaching, because there are so many irons in the fire. I want to leave Powerful Women Today for when we explode and launch. I don't want to let too much more out because it's going to be exciting for that. For my group coaching on Patreon, we are tailoring what materials and resources are provided from group input. So if you are looking to have your own online course, we'll have an entire month dedicated to the tools and resources for your online course. At higher tiers, there's group coaching calls where we are helping each other. There are hot seats tailored specific to your business problems. And at a higher level, you can get a one-on-one strategy call with me. You can get it for free because you're listening to Mistie's if you fill that application out, but you can get it on a more regular basis. So we can really work on what's tailored to your business. It's personal. It's not, I have VIP programs that are high dollar programs because you get that level of attention from me. But now everyone's income compromised, and greater need to make this shift. I felt I wanted to offer more.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Awesome. So just real quick, because we're just about out of time, just real quick, tell the audience how to sign up or what the application involves for that free strategy, the 3 that you're giving away.
If you click on that call, fill out the questionnaire. It's going to ask you a little bit about yourself so I can come into this call not blind. I can know a little bit about you, and maybe I've worked with someone already who's been in a similar situation that you have. Are you just trying to figure out which hobby to make into your side hustle? Where do you even begin? Or do you have an established side hustle that you're trying to see if It can be a full-time work from home business. What do you need to set up remotely? Give me some information about you, and I'll have the better information to strategize to help position you for growth and to get you where you want to be on the call.
Okay, great. So you guys, I want you to go ahead and type in the comments, I'm in, if you're going to go and do that that application, and that way she'll know to be watching for you, and she'll know that your application came in from the show. She's going to pick 3 of you, so don't be shy. Go ahead, and you got a good chance to win. Go ahead and put your application in, and she's not going to harass you. She's not going to blow up your email. And if she does, come to me, because I'll get after her. But I know her; she's not going to do that. But yeah, she is truly from a place of her heart trying to give you a gift. So take advantage of it and actually follow through and do the gift. Okay. All right, Marion, we're going to have to run this part off so I can talk a little bit to the audience about some stuff coming up. But man, it's always just great getting to catch up with you. I'm so happy to have had you on the show.
Love you.
Man, I'm just real excited. So you got somebody from Canada already chiming in. All right. And so you guys go to that link, like she said, and get signed up. If you want to know more about Marianne, what's your Patreon? How do they reach you on Patreon?
I have all of the links in the live chat thread here. So
Okay.
I've given you, they say you should only have one call to action. I've given you 3 options.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Have a strategy call. Second, we're going to help you with group coaching at a price that helps you grow and doesn't break the bank for you. And then third, my local Albuquerque women, my New Mexico women, powerful women today. If you're interested and you're outside of Albuquerque, still let me know. Sign up for the group and we'll connect you with some local when we can. Great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you opening up and talking about your breakdown. I also really, really thank you and admire you for your transparency and sharing about Quinn and how you almost lost him not once but twice, and what